If you have questions about Pinterest group boards, how they work, or whether or not you should use them, or if you're another blogger and you just want to take a peek at my strategy and how I use them, then this video is for you. Hi, I'm Megan, another blogger just like most of you guys, who's just been doing this a little while. And right now I have over 65,000 sessions for the last 30 days to my website. And about 75% of that traffic is from Pinterest. And pinning to group boards is a huge part of my strategy. So I'm going to show you how I find them, how I join them, and I'm even going to bring you into my analytics to kind of show you the difference in performance versus pins that I only pin to my boards versus pins that I pin to group boards, because it's a pretty big difference. So I'm going to jump into the numbers first just to kind of prove how well the group boards are working for me. But if you don't have the time and you want to skip past that part, then just go to the next chapter where I start showing you how to find them. But if you have the time, then stick around, because I know I've personally learned a lot from other people just doing a dive into their analytics and talking about it. So if you can, then listen to the next chapter. Let me show you my analytics really quick to just give you an idea of how much activity there is from other people's pins. So just on the overview page, it kind of defaults to impressions. I'll leave it there for now for an example. And right down here, it's going to show you a list of all your top pins. And over here under source, it tells you either other pins or your pins, which if you don't understand the difference, your pins are pins that you yourself pinned into Pinterest. Either you uploaded it from your website or you uploaded the image into Pinterest yourself. Your pins is other people repinning your pin from other boards, or they might be pinning an image from your website also. But a lot of times it is them repinning your pins from other boards. So for me, I know since I use group boards heavily, a lot of the activity under other pins is most likely from repinning from those group boards. So all of these pins were pinned using the method that I shared in another video called the Unconventional Pinterest Strategy, which I'll try to remember to link in the description. But basically all of these were using that strategy where I used group boards heavily. I always pin to one of my own boards first, and then I pin to a bunch of group boards. And the reason for that is because if the owner of the group board deletes the board and you pinned it there first, then your pin will disappear and all the activity that went along with it. So just make sure to pin it to one of your own boards first, and it will stay and live in Pinterest. It will not be deleted if the board gets deleted. And for those of you that don't know, I actually have an experiment going on where the beginning of the year, January 1st, I started a new strategy. So I decided to bring on some help, have someone help me just make a bunch of brand new, fresh images for each of my blog posts and pin a lot more often, a lot more brand new images and pinning them to my own boards. I really wanted to try building up the content in my own boards, just making sure the descriptions were all good for SEO and making sure Pinterest really understood them, and just wanted to see what happened if I could get more traffic that way. So when I wanted to check on the images, all the new pins that we've been making over the last couple months, I thought, okay, let's check this box for the pins created in the last 30 days. I only want to see the activity on those. And all the ones at the top are all older images. These are ones that I made a long time ago that I put within my blog post at the time of, publishing the post. And Pinterest considers it new because someone else went and uploaded it for the first time. That is not these are not the ones that I've actually created in the last 30 days. Those ones, scroll, keep scrolling. These ones are all still old. Now we're getting into the newer images. These are the ones that were pinned using the new strategy. So they're brand new, fresh image for one of my blog posts, and we are pinning them to my own boards, which is, again, really trying to build up my own boards because you hear from a lot of experts, that's the way to do it. And not seeing great results yet. You can see over here, these impressions are really, really low for me. And I know some people are going to say, well, you haven't given it enough time. It can take, months for something to get going on Pinterest, which is true. However, that has not really been my experience. I will have some of my other pins rank within a couple weeks. They'll start getting like a lot of traction. So none of these new images or pins from the last couple months are doing very well. So right away, this is just showing me that pinning to my own boards only is getting way less eyes on my content. So my takeaway from this, and the best advice that I can give you guys probably too, is to use a mix of both. I'm going to continue to try to build up my own boards and pin to those a little more often than I was, but I am also going to still use group boards as part of my strategy. And in fact, I think I'm going to go look for a few more to join just after seeing all these numbers and how well that they're working for me. Okay, now let me show you how to find group boards because it's pretty easy. There's two different ways. First, you can do it with the search bar. Just make sure from your home page or your profile page, click the search button. If it defaults to your pins like mine, just make sure that's on all pins. And now you're going to search for something related to your content or within your niche. So I'm going to keep using food as an example because I share recipes. So I'm going to type in dinner recipes. And now whatever word or keywords you're searching, make sure to add group board. So for me, dinner recipes, group board. Say you're, sharing parenting stuff. You want to look up best bottles or best baby products, just baby products, group board. Add group board to whatever you're searching and then hit enter. And there's one more step. It's going to pull up a bunch of stuff, but first click this filter button over here on the left and make sure you check boards. You only want it to pull boards, not just pins. Hit apply. So now it's just giving me boards that relate to the keywords that it was searching. So right away, like this first one, under the title of the board, there are some profile names listed. And if you see a little number here, right here, it says +10, that means there are multiple contributors to that board, making it a group board. So all of these it pulled up are group boards, +10, +7, +7. And when it says +10, that doesn't mean they just have 10. Some of these are really big. Like Food Bloggers group board, they have over 99 contributors. So not sure why it just says 10 here. But anyways, if it shows a number, it just means that more than one person are contributing to that board. So that's one way to find them. So the next way to find them, the other way that I use is a little less conventional. It's a little bit different, and I'll explain why. So you kind of start off the same. You're going to go to your search bar and make sure you set it to all pins. And let's just do dinner recipes again. But here you're not going to type in group board. I'm just going to search for other pins that, come up with these key terms, dinner recipes. So I'm going to click on one. This creamy Tuscan ravioli looks pretty good. And what I'm doing is, okay, it's actually got some good engagement on this. I am going to click on the profile, not the recipe. I want to see who shared this. So I'm going to click on this person's profile and I'm going to look at their boards. So this is something that I've done over my years of blogging, and I think it's helped tremendously. And it's a big tip. I stress you guys do too. Look at the people within your niche and the people that are a little bit bigger that, you can tell are having success. Look at what they're doing. And by no means do I mean steal their content, but look at their strategy. Look at how they're pinning. I peek around at different food bloggers' boards and see who's using group boards, who's not using group boards. Take a look at their account, their numbers, what's working for them. So I like coming over to other food bloggers' profiles to find out what their board strategy is, if they're using group boards or not. And this is a good way that I kind of do that. I just look for pins within my niche and then head over to the profile of whoever pinned it. So this is kind of a good example. This is someone I can tell that's using group boards. And the way that you can tell here, it's a little different than when it shows up when you search for, in filter boards with the little number, the plus number. This will show like little profile pictures next to the board title. So this is a group board because of all of these little pictures. So all these up here are group boards. Let me show you really quick one that's not, well, it's closed. But if it's not a group board, it will not show any pictures here. It'll just be blank. But right away, I can tell that this person is using group boards in their strategy. And if I wanted, I could see which group boards they're using and kind of reach out that way. I could go try to join these group boards. And again, this is nothing shady. All you're doing is using their accounts to kind of find group boards a different way. So this is just another way I like to do it, and it just kind of gives me an idea of what other people in my niche are using, the boards that they're using, because there are so many out there. Now that you know how to find them, let's talk about how to join them, because honestly, joining them is kind of the hard part. Finding them is easy. I'll stay on this account just as an example. Hopefully this works out. Let's click on the first one, Easy Dessert Recipes. The way you're going to find out how to join them is by the description on the board. So every group board is different. Some want you to send them a message. Some want you to comment on their last pin to join. But unfortunately, there's also a lot that just say close to new contributors. So if you see that right away, I don't even try to reach out. So the description is where you're going to find rules for how to join. Let's take a look at this one. Oops. Do not add anyone. Make sure your recipe. Okay, there's no instructions for someone who comes across this and wants to be a contributor. So kind of glad this popped up, because if you come across this where there's zero instruction, you can actually reach out to the person who started the board. So the way you can tell that is right here is going to say bye, and whatever that first name, that first profile it lists there, that is the person that started the board. So I'm going to click on that. Great Grub, Delicious Treats. So this person created the board that we were just on. And luckily, she has a contact button here. Sometimes there will be a contact button, a message button. Sometimes there's no button at all. But if you find an email on their account or any way to reach out to them, you can do this. Just try sending them a message, letting them know the board that you came across, give them the name, give them your Pinterest account, be really nice, just say who you are and that you would love to be a part of their group board. And cross your fingers that you hear back. Unfortunately, joining them can be a little bit hard. It's hard to hear back from a lot of these people in my experience, but start maybe with smaller boards. If you're not getting any responses from bigger boards, go after the smaller ones. That's just a little piece of advice, but don't give up. It is so worth it to put in the time to find these boards. Just based on my own personal experience, I see it in the numbers. I get so many more eyes on my content from these group boards. So that's it. Joining them is really just a matter of going to the board and seeing what rules that person set for joining. I found a good one. This one, for example, it says to join, request an invite through Pinterest. It's really straightforward. And then, she has rules for her board like a lot of people do. A lot of them will have like a limit that you can pin per day, like 3 or 5, whatever it is. Just follow the rules. You don't want to get kicked out. And I swear you will be happy. You'll see some results from these group boards, I promise. Also, just one other little tip when looking for group boards, something that I like to do, I like to find boards that have a lot of activity, that have a lot of contributors, that have a lot of pins within them. So these all are good examples of that. This one has 54,000 pins, 21,000. They have lots of contributors. So they're really active, and that those boards are, Pinterest is loving those boards. They love active boards with a lot of engagement. So when I'm looking, I specifically look for boards like that. If it's only 5,000 pins or maybe a few contributors, I don't even waste my time, and I feel bad. I know those boards need to get started somewhere too, but just to save time, I start with the bigger ones. And if you are not getting any responses, then work your way down, then maybe shoot for some smaller ones. Look at this as an example of a good small one. So there's only 430 pins on this board. 60 contributors. I mean, they have a lot of contributors, but it's not super active. So this is not one that I would reach out to first. Again, this is just my strategy. So once someone responds to you and lets you know that they added you, then you can go ahead and start pinning to that board right away. To know more specifically how I use them, like once I finish a blog post and how I pin to them, just check out my other video. I'm going to put it in the description, the one where I share my unconventional Pinterest strategy. I really hope this helped you guys understand group boards better and how to use them. If you have any questions at all about them or about Pinterest, just let me know in the comments. I am more than happy to help. I could talk about Pinterest all day.